What's going on? My name is Alan. I'm the founder of an agency based out of San Diego, and I made a blog post this week on creative diversity and the updates that came with Andromeda. It got a lot of positive feedback, so I thought, let me make this a YouTube video and throw it on for anybody else who's wondering what creative diversity actually means, how to actually run meta ads effectively in Q2 of 2026, where there's so much, random like advice coming around, and I'm going to try to explain it in 5 minutes of what it actually means, how to actually leverage it, to your benefit, and create full experiences, which at the end of the day, that's what Meta's trying to do. So creative diversity is not, grabbing one winning ad and duplicating it 10 times and swapping the hook, for example. This is something we used to do. We don't do that anymore because that will actually penalize you. It'll penalize you because there's something called creative similarity. Creative similarity means that there's an algorithm that scans your ad set and it's going to try to figure out how much diversity you have in there. That's where the term creative diversity comes from, right? Creative diversity means having different, content pieces entirely, right? Not just little changes. So, different formats, different angles, different ways of communicating value. My little chart here has an example. So we have a first class ticket. One example can be saving time. Another one could be better sleep. Another one could be status and luxury, productivity. But this all points to your core fundamental first class ticket. Now, we don't want to use the same picture with a bunch of different headlines. We want to use different content pieces, right? One may be, for example, UGC, like what you see right now in this video. Another one, founder story, product demo, and lifestyle, maybe something more high quality outside. So you want to have an ad account, or I'd say in this scenario, an ad set that's full, of creative diversity with different content pieces in different formats. Now, how do you leverage this? You leverage it by creating different stages of awareness within the ad set, right? So at the end of the day, a Facebook ad set has 50, assets that you can put into it. At my agency, we do 33% top of funnel, 33% middle, and 33% bottom. What that ends up creating is something like this, right? So you now have, your angle meaning your buyer persona. And I think up here, I explain what that means. So right here, buyer persona, we start with a single user persona, right? So I'm going to give you an example. That might be someone taking vitamin C for immunity. All right, that makes sense, right? There's also people who take vitamin C for skin health, for example. We're not going to talk to them. We're going to just talk to immunity. This is your immunity ad set. And usually we isolate those by campaign as well because we want it to all stay within that organism. You now are going to create, your ad structure, 33% top of funnel, so people who are unaware, 33% middle of the funnel, problem aware and solution aware, and then 33% bottom of the funnel, product aware, and then the most aware. What this will do is that Advantage Plus will now pair the journey based on the education of the customer. I'm going to say that again because that's kind of confusing for a lot of people. Advantage Plus and the Meta AI now knows how educated that consumer is and in what format they need to show that journey. And it will decide for you, right? So back in the day, we used to create these complex structures, top of funnel, middle, bottom. Now Advantage Plus will do it for you, and it'll actually drive the experience, to the lowest acquisition cost based on the individual person. I created, or I actually pulled a little graph from the engineering Facebook website, which I'll show in a second, which is under here. But the last thing that I will kind of share from this part of it is the independent buyer journeys, right? How do you know that this is happening? You'll know because some creatives are taking a lot of the spend, others are taking less spend. What does that tell us? It tells us that a funnel happened, an experience happened. I'm assuming the bottom of the funnel assets were taking a majority of the spend, and then as well as the top of funnel assets. But Meta's Advantage Plus will then tailor, the other creative assets in, a different part of the journey. And that's exactly what we want. That's a healthy funnel. So here is that little example here. Over here on the right, you see the ad candidates, right? So I like to explain that as your ad set. Then you have the hierarchical ad index. What does that mean? What that means is that it's going to grab your ad candidates and it's going to spit them out in different formats per user persona, right? So let's say here, this first example can be, someone very cold. They've never heard of your brand before, and it's going to give them all the purple. Maybe this gray one is somebody who's warm. It's going to give them all the gray ones. And maybe this blue one is someone, who's ready to buy. Maybe they even looked at a competitor, and they're going to give them all the blue ones, right? So 3 funnels, 3 different experiences based on the education of that customer. That explains it well. This is what I want to show, each one of our clients that starts to ask questions of like, what's our funnel looking like, etc. It's a very easy way to understand. So creative diversity isn't about doing more. It's about doing different. Your ads, if your ads look the same, they'll plateau. If they speak to different people in different ways, your compounds, right? That's the shift. So if you have any questions on this or want me to review your ad account, go ahead and text me. My phone number is 619-319-0681. We're an e-commerce agency at the end of the day. We also dabble in lead generation, but our main priority is paid advertising for direct consumer brands. So if you have any questions on this, go ahead and book that call with me or text me. The link's also in the description. I've been doing this for 8 years. My brother Jorge is my business partner, and we work really closely with our clients. So appreciate you for watching this, and we'll go from there. Thanks. Bye.